Hey yo YouTube, I'm here to continue talking about the side mission of Hyde and When we last left off, we just made an alliance with the mongrel man, Shaman Mossy back. We asked him if there's any more tribes. He says we're in the southern lands of the mongrel man and that there's like 400 in this area, there's like 500 in another, and like altogether in this region there's about 1,000. And the Lorks are to the north, and the Trogs live underground. And if you go south far enough, I believe across a 7-day desert, you'll get to the Turtle Lands. Um, Tells us about trogs. Pretty much they're caveman. I say something about troglodytes. The DM says technically that's right, but in the D&D world, troglodytes are something different. They're some kind of lizard men. I ask about the High Mongerman chieftain. He says his name is Varon Vet. He says his father was the chief of a smaller tribe. He inherited from him. Uh, Unlike other mongrel men, he's unwilling to make deals with the other humanoids that like pretty much try to extort stuff from him, I guess. Apparently, his goal is for the mongrel man to live free. Uh, Whenever I decide that's who I want to go see, I could tell by the way the DM reacts how he just starts like setting stuff up that he was not expecting me to pick that one. Um, I'm thinking he was expecting me to go after the low orcs or just go into the goblinoid area altogether. So I guess we camp for the day, and then the next day we travel for 9 hours. And the DM puts them up a map. Says Mongerman approaches, saying like pretty much when the Mongerman from our group approaches, screaming, saying that they encountered a scouting party. So eventually, the DM puts up what this chief and his entourage is supposed to look like. The shamans are like big elephants. He himself ended up looking like the best way I could describe it is how the hybrid vampire werewolf and underworld looked like. How his body looked like that, but his head looks like a regular human with like white skin, blonde hair. So I start going over my spew. I know from talking to the shaman kind of how to approach it better. Like I don't really use the term horde. Start talking about the council immediately. Tell him I want him to have a place on the council. Um, and I know the DM ends up making me do a diplomatic check. If I remember right, I rolled terrible, but again, like I said, from talking to the shaman, like I build up the humanoid empire and that we're Vatir from another world. Because like that seems to really what hooks them, like the idea of a humanoid empire and living like I guess in a real civilization. And he does ask like a few questions. Like he asks, "Do we demand that we work alongside them?" I say like, "I hope we do. I don't demand it." He asks if he gets a place on the council, will he get an equal say? I say with as many people he'll be contributing, he'll probably be senior to some, and if he joins now, he technically will be senior to some. And I kind of mentioned how Gruumsh is a humanoid god in his world, not just an orc god. Uh, Him and the shaman go and speak amongst themselves. The Parisha priest asks how I think it's going. I say I think it's going all right. Like I said, the humanoid empire seems to really get him. And we ask about other tribes to send. I want to say by now he agrees, and then that he'll be part of this. We ask about other tribes we could talk to. He says that pretty much the valley they would have to travel through is too dangerous. Uh, we offer to go alongside him. That kind of gets retconned later on. And he pretty much says for us to stay the night with them. If we leave now, we'll get there by, I guess, nightfall. Uh, and he says like in the morning they'll have some emissaries ready to talk to the other shaman. We say we actually want to wait like 3 days to be able to report with them. When we get there, I go out, make a survival check, go hunting, end up rolling like a 43. So, like, I pull in a bunch of rats. After that, the Parisha priestess asks if she wants me to have her summon a feast, and I agree. Um, Before this, I was kind of just like joking around with the DM that like I asked a few questions about Mongrel Man, like how they work. Like they're just like a hybrid of all the humanoids, and they kind of like inbred. Uh, like he slightly answers me, and I tell him, well, if we ever camp out with Mongrel Man, just to let you know, Hyde's gonna add his gene pool to the people, and the DL's like, I suggest that if that was gonna happen, it happens now, and like I remind him that we're hanging out here for 3 days, and that's where the DM ends up wrapping it up. Since we ended up not fighting this section and these sessions seem to be so short, I decided to mix this one with the next session. And there's also some stuff that gets done in between and after with just me and the DM. So this might end up being quite a little long video. So I have a small little thing with the DM in between these two sessions, between Hyde and I tell him I start off by approaching the Parisha priestess and ask if we're on the same page with the mongrel man. Uh, Pretty like she says that she pretty much sees it. I pretty much say that that they should be our workforce, stuff like that. When it comes to building a community, we might be accepted easier if we're all not all just warriors. I say something like they could do livestock and farming that only humanoids are interested in. Boars, reptiles, rats, and they already seem experienced in growing molds and fungi. And that's when she suggests that we shouldn't overlook the trogs, and she says that the cult of Parisha, along with gargoyles, because the reason why gargoyles are part of the cult of Parisha is because they kind of have like I know in older editions they had like a thing for pain, the and Parisha is the goddess of pleasure and pain, and she says that they also have leopard gnomes and they have troglodytes that work for them. Pretty much, she says like they'll capture them and then convert them. Uh, she says particularly the troglodytes are the trogs. How other groups will bring them in and like they'll kind of become accustomed to the culture. Like with the Grey Dwarfs, they'll just become more stern. Uh, Goblins and stuff to be more violent. Um, and cult of Parisha, although yes, they're into pain, they're also into pleasure. So they will kind of experience that with the trogs, and since the other groups don't do nothing like this, they seem to be they've leaned into it, and the trogs have become fully devoted. The ones that get captured ends up being fully converted into the cult of Parisha, and like I ended up suggesting that maybe we should get a trog and because like she says that what also the ways that they usually catch them is that they'll get hunted down by gargoyles and margoyles, which are like the bigger, I guess the stronger cave like gargoyles, uh, and then usually like they'll have some of the members of Culture Parisha are half succubi, so I guess they'll use that to seduce them. So then I go and talk to Chief Vex, and And at first, like, I ask what is his history, tell me a story, and pretty much he tells me what they already told me before, which is that he inherited it. He wants his people to live. Like, he'll rather flee and instead of making a deal. And I believe he's the one that starts telling me a little bit about the territory. Like, he says that there's. Oh no, yeah, I think I asked intel. I asked what is the intel on the Knolls. Is there a greater chief? Stuff like that. Uh, he says that there's 18 tribes and that they have like these like natural castles that form. And to the east of them are something called quail boars, which are supposed to be like boarmen that are some kind of chaotic race that war with the Knolls. He says there's Learch confirms some of the things that the chief says. He says that there's 19 tribes. Uh, 18 of them are the matriarchs, and only one of them is a patriarch. Learch says that the Knolls he was enslaved by were their chieftain was called Sepis, and she was thought to be the strongest out of all the chiefs, but that could have just been, her followers saying that. Vex also mentions that the area we're planning on traveling through, the most dangerous thing there are the bugbears. Um, how like they're more organized than the other ones, and like there's like traps and stuff. I don't know where in all of this I said this, but at some point I've asked him, uh, or I told him that for this campaign to succeed, we need support of the Orc King. And whenever my master Smite went to go talk to his emissaries of what can he promise to the Orc nations, they pretty much said the only thing he was interested in was ancient Orc ruins or old ancient Orc lands. And so I asked like how attached is he to the mines, and pretty much he says that as long as the orcs aren't ruling over them, he's fine with them coming in and uh, and them cohabitating, or even if to a point they have to move. And pretty much he says he's fine with this whole operation. He doesn't know if it's going to be a success, but he's waiting to see what happens. I ask if it's okay if we could bring an orc representative to look at the mines, and he says he's fine with that. So I tell the DM I go to the wizard and have him teleport me to the Orc Nation and talk to the high priest that usually Smite talks to him. Give him the rundown of what's going on. Tell him that we found these mines. They tell us to wait a little bit, and they'll send a group with us to look at them. Uh, the DM tells us pretty much he sends a half orc that's some kind of archaeologist, and her father is a human that is a direct advisor to the Orc King. So I'm like, oh, she's hot shit. And then also she has like an orc bodyguard. So just to make it short, they go look at it, confirm that it is orc, ancient orc. They say they're not, because like we're not sure if it was orc or elf, and they say they're not surprised because the writing's similar. So the start of the next session, the DM gives me the name to those two, and I believe the half orc is Akira, and the bodyguard is Urzak. And Zerlif is the name of the Parisha priestess, if I've never said it, which I don't think I did. So, I know I spent a little time talking to the half orc, saying that, because like she does say that the Orc Nation is going to be fully on board now, and I suggest that her and maybe or I suggest that orc, a high orc that could help us take down orc tribes, and if we also run into more artifacts to know procedure. She kind of asks what we're doing. We say we're traveling through lands where we're going to come across low orcs if we see a chieftain, maybe we could replace him with a high orc. So like her and the other orc end up deciding to go with us. Um, yeah, there. I don't know if there, how much I could have to say about this session, cause yeah, we had this little role playing that I did now, um, or that I just said, and then I guess the next day or whatever, we decide to continue the mission and go through this area. I asked the DM if the goblin that's with us, Grizzlack, is from this area, or this is going to be the area he's from, because there's goblins here. And he thinks about it and he's like, yeah. And he tells us that Grizzlack knows of where a water hole is, and that someone will eventually be there. If like we'll run into one of the groups that are in this area if we go there. So we travel however long. The DM puts up this watering hole map. Uh, our party's on the bottom corner. Um, I tell the DM I roll a move silently. Can't remember what I rolled, but it was high. Like I move my character up to a certain spot, and then I tell the DM that I roll a high check, and the DM like the moment the DM sees where I move, he's like, "Hold up," and says like, "Okay, hold on." And it turns out that right where I moved to and stopped at is right where a bugbear is, and the DM puts one up on the map. Like I have my character move back, and like the bugbear's like, "What are you doing here? Like find your own watering hole." And Hod immediately goes right into the talk. The we are a horde. Uses the term more horde with this group because they're goblinoids. I do also say like if we run into the regular goblins or the low orcs, like they believe might is right, so don't worry about not killing them. But like I said, I go through the typical spew. I've been doing this whole few sessions of telling them I'm a horde. They're making a mixed humanoid group. We're gonna build a colony, take no lands, take troll lands. Uh, at first, he doesn't seem to be digging it. The DM makes me real diplomatic. I ask if I'm a bug because I'm a bugbear. Can I do it at advantage? He says sure. I actually thought there was a chance it could be a disadvantage, uh, but I end up rolling a dirty 20. So he agrees to go get his shaman and see what his shaman thinks about this. So the bugbear goes over to his spot on the map. Eventually, he brings back more bugbears. Uh, I thought the pics that the DM was using or that the AI generated looked like the how the wild things are. Um, but the shaman starts asking the same thing, goes through the same back and forth. He asks if the lower orcs are going to get the same opportunity. I say if we could speak to them, we'll try, but more than likely they're going to attack us on sight. He's like, if you didn't pick the same hiding spot as one of the other bugbears, we would have probably attacked you on sight too. And I say I kind of thought that's what would have happened. I think they said his name is Tharnak, and like if I didn't mention it yet, I offered him saying since he seemed like a powerful shaman that controlled a lot of bugbears, and later on he confirms that they controlled the goblins of this area too. I offer him a spot on the council, and he ends up agreeing. After that, I talked to the Parisha priestess. We talk about the troglodyte and the Margoyle going down and trying to talk to the trogs on their own or scouting ahead. Um, she ends up suggesting, because I also did suggest half succubi join us. And like she's kind of like, I am one. Uh, so she kind of suggests, like, well, should I go down there and do that? She kind of makes it sound like she doesn't want to, or she would prefer not to. But she does say it'll be a lot quicker and stuff like that. Like things will go a lot faster. And with Hyde being a neutral evil character and stuff like that, uh, I end up saying, yeah, go ahead, do things your way. And then we pretty much end that session there. I do a little bit more with the DM by myself. Uh, but back to that session, me putting my moving silently and hiding where I did, ended up completely avoiding the fight. Which storyline is good, but it made me feel bad for Urs player because he ended up not doing a single thing for like 2 sessions in a row. Uh, when I'm talking about it to the Parisha person though, like the Parisha priestess, she's like, uh, you didn't just stumble upon it randomly. Like this was something that the gods did, and then like I tell her that whenever I killed the orc with one shot, I thought that was a symbol from Gruumsh, but I'm no priest. And she's like, well, maybe Smite will understand stuff like that better. And he's like, my experience with Smite is why I came to this conclusion. Like, this is probably something he would say. And then she's like, well, then you should view it that way. Uh, but like I said, I do a few things with the DM by myself. Like I asked the half orc about her being an astrologist, a timekeeper, and I tell her that that the party of Aetir that we deal with has a lot of pull in the Temple of Knowledge, and that whenever we return, I'm gonna see if Liurch wants to become a member of the Brotherhood. Uh, and if she wants to be an affiliate, or if they would both become affiliates. She's kind of like, I'll need permission, think about it, stuff like that, and I kind of say like let's see how it works with Lee Urch first, and she's like, actually, he's probably not going to have that big of a problem because he's a species that they don't have and stuff like that, and also he's a bard. But I set up a meeting with the bugbear chieftain or shaman, and pretty much I said that I set out a set of the Knoll equipment we picked up, which would be like a bow, ring, amulet, and whatever their melee weapon was. And I asked them if this is enough to buy the freedom of the Mongerman slaves you may have. Because apparently they're popular, they're famous for having Mongerman slaves, and if the gnolls or trolls attack, they'll release them and they'll eat them instead of chasing them. Uh, and he quickly agrees. I end up finding out it's only 5 Mongerman slaves, which I way overpaid. Then I also asked them to if they would quit taking Mongerman slaves, and they pretty much say as long as this treaty or this alliance holds well, they'll keep to it. And we ask what about the other Mongerman chieftain. Pretty much they say there's a series of chieftains outside of the main one that Vex is. So pretty much just to make it short, he gives us these 5 slaves. We have them lead us to one of the chieftains. They end up looking more like walrus men. Same conversation for the most part. Uh, it doesn't go quite as well as the other ones. Like they never really give a full agreement, but they pretty much say they'll go talk to the other chiefs in the area and come up with the decision. And like I kind of tell them like they don't have to work with us, but we hope that they do. Pretty much tell us that the goblins are no longer going to attack the mongrel men. They ask about the half orcs, and I already suggested that we send a squad of high orcs in there and take out all, because like they're not supposed to be one group. Like they're a bunch of tribes, and just send a tribe or send a squad in there with the priest. Tell them that Gruumsh is raising a horde, and if they don't join us, then conquer them. The half orc said that some of them will run. I suggest that I end up making the suggestion that we the ones that run to capture them and sacrifice them to Gruumsh. So like the GM kind of gives me a look, and I'm like, hey, I'm neutral evil. Like I gotta do something. I can't be a goody two all the time. Goody two shoes all the time. Uh, and that, like I said, that's pretty much all we do there. The DM does kind of inform me that on this area we've kind of wrapped up everything. I mentioned that we've only explored the Knoll border. Like, let's go over and explore the Troll border. And the DM's like, all right, I could do something with that. And so the next session with Hyde and that's what we're gonna do. Hopefully, we get right into a fight. They'll end up take because like I said, they're shorter camp or shorter sessions. So hopefully, we don't take it all up with role playing again like we did the last two. Uh, I'm just rambling now, so if you want to see my next video or find out what happens when we hit the troll lands, check out my next video and check you later.